Good morning, everyone. If you're here with me today, it's probably for one of two reasons. Either you're here to experience a new perspective on something, or you're late for your econ lecture and you're in the wrong building. If you're here for the latter, I've been there, but I can't help you. Please do stick around, though, because you will learn something today. Before we go any further, I'd like to invite all of you to participate in a brief exercise with me. Go ahead and align your hips to your shoulders the best you can. Right? Straighten out your backs and flash your best smile. Go ahead and hold it for 2 or 3 seconds and really think about how it feels. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Congratulations, you passed the first test. You're a living, breathing human being. That's what I'm here to talk about today. I want to challenge all of you to re-examine your surroundings and reconsider something that perhaps you've taken for granted your whole life. I'm here to talk about the hidden power behind your smile. I suppose now's a good time for me to introduce myself. My name's Nicholas Piscatelli. And for as long as I can remember, smiling has played a really unique role in my life. Growing up, a lot of my loved ones, friends and family, struggled with depression. And it was difficult for me to go through a whole day knowing that they weren't able to experience the same level of happiness that came naturally to me. Because of this, I felt almost guilty, and I wanted to do whatever I could in any interaction with these people to make them smile, because I knew how smiling made me feel, and if I could do that for them, it'd be a huge service. So what did I do? Well, in any interaction with these people, I would compliment their shoes, or their hair perhaps, or crack a joke maybe. And these things worked from time to time, but it wasn't long before I realized the most effective way to make my loved ones smile was simply to smile. Smile with them, smile towards them in any interaction, and they couldn't help but replicate this smile. It was through these shared smiles that I learned the power of smiling. Hopefully today, you can too. Now, what exactly is a smile? One person's smile may be another person's smirk, and one person's smirk could be another person's grin. Well, there's one thing we know for sure about smiles, and that there's 2 muscles that are the cornerstone in any genuine smile. First is the zygomatic major muscle in your cheek, responsible for pulling up the corners of your mouth and helping us smile. And second is the orbicularis oculi muscle that surrounds our eye and is responsible for pulling our eyes tight and helping us, as we say sometimes, smile with our eyes. So the next time you overhear your aunt complaining about those nasty crow's feet next to her eyes, just know that that's from years and years of smiling. Or she's getting really old. One of the two. Now, a lot of what we know about smiles and other facial expressions and how they relate to our emotions and our psyche comes from the studies of 19th century French anatomist Guillaume Duchenne, whose studies contributed to the genesis of the facial feedback hypothesis. The facial feedback hypothesis is the idea that our brain is constantly taking input from different muscle contortions in our face and deciding to release the appropriate hormones and neurotransmitters. So when we're smiling and using these 2 muscles, our brain takes this as a sign that we're happy and releases dopamine, a pleasure neurotransmitter. Because of this, we can trick our brains at any moment by choosing to smile and choosing to release dopamine and making us feel good. I guess the best way to explain this would be, not only do we smile because we're happy, but we're happy because we smile. Take this instance, for example. I used to work at an Italian restaurant, and I would need to wear a shirt and tie when I go into work. And my boss was getting a little upset with me for the stains I had on my tie. So one evening before work, I decided to go get a new tie, and as a result, I knew I was going to be late. I'm approaching work, and I hit rush hour traffic. Bumper to bumper, as far as I could see, this was surely the end of all days. And I was very frustrated, to say the least. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I spilled coffee on my brand new tie. Yeah. I was almost so upset that I was blinded from what was going on. And when I was able to calm down a little bit, I took a step back and remembered the facial feedback hypothesis, the idea that our brain is constantly taking input from our face. And I thought, what is my face doing right now that's making me feel this way? Well, I noted that I was frowning, naturally. I was lowering my brow. I was even gritting my teeth. And I thought, wow, my brain probably thinks I'm really upset right now. So I decided to try something new and make a change. In this moment, I decided to smile. And even though I felt a little uncomfortable at first, shortly after, I was amazed by how much less stressful the event became. Something that once was a huge issue suddenly didn't matter as much because I chose to smile. If you're not already convinced of the power of your smile to relieve stress in your life, just ask Tara Kraft from the University of Kansas, whose studies set out to prove just this. Tara enlisted 169 college students in an experiment that they thought was about multitasking. In actuality, Tara was investigating the facial feedback hypothesis and the ability of our smiles to relieve stress in our lives. Tara hooked all the participants up to heart rate monitors and also had them self-indicate their stress level throughout the experiment. She had some participants put a chopstick in their mouth like this to demonstrate a neutral face, and had other participants put a chopstick in their mouth like this to demonstrate the facial construction of a genuine smile. She had the participants endure incredibly strenuous tasks, and what she found at the end was those demonstrating genuine smiles had far lower stress levels, both via their heart rate monitor and self-indicated, than those demonstrating neutral faces. Furthermore, those demonstrating genuine smiles were able to recover from these strenuous tasks far quicker than those with a neutral face. If this isn't proof that our smiles are powerful stress relievers in our lives, I don't know what is. And the power of your smile doesn't stop there. As I'm sure many of you have heard before, smiles are contagious. See, I got you. It's almost impossible for me to stand up here and smile and for you not to replicate my smile. This is a product of mirror neurons in our brain that are designed to analyze other people's facial expressions and replicate them for the sake of a better interaction. In the case of a smile, this phenomenon creates a synchronizing effect that leads to a heightened connection and, in turn, trust. Often, this synchronizing effect is completely unintentional. About a week or so ago, perhaps, I was putting together my slideshow for this presentation. And I'm trying to think of a celebrity smile that everyone would know and love. Of course, the name Will Smith came to mind. So here I am on my computer in the library looking at all these photos of Will's great smile. And I look up from the computer to find all my friends looking at me like I have two heads. And I couldn't figure out why it was until I realized I was grinning from ear to ear, simply from looking at these photos of Will's smile. Did I feel like I had a connection to Will, even though he was on the other side of the computer screen? Yes. And did I feel like I could trust him just because of his great smile? Yes. Surely it can't be a coincidence that everyone from your airline stewardess to your local politician is constantly smiling. These people are trying to earn your trust. These people are trying to earn your trust. Now, as far as this idea of trust and smiling goes in my own life, when I sat down with my loved ones and shared a smile with them, I could feel that they knew they could trust me and rely on me. It was through these shared smiles and this new level of trust that I was able to be a better support system for my loved ones. This marks a moment in my life when I realized the power of a true smile. But as many of you know, not all smiles are true smiles. There's that one person we know, and when we see them, they give us a fake smile, kind of like, right, it makes us feel a little uncomfortable. We almost have to take a step back because we feel like we can't trust this person. This level of trust requires a real smile, and some people are just better at this than others. Let's go ahead and put this idea to the test. I've taken the liberty of selecting 3 celebrity smiles, 2 genuine Duchenne smiles, and 1 false non-Duchenne smile. When you see a real smile, go ahead and put your hand up. And when you see a fake smile that makes you feel a little uncomfortable, just something a little off about the smile, feel free to leave your hand down. All right, let's jump right into this. First, we have the Duchess of Cambridge, clearly having a great time at some formal event. You can tell by the crow's feet next to her eyes and her wide smile that she's demonstrating a genuine one. I certainly feel like I can trust her here, and I'm sure you all would agree. Moving along. Next, we have John Stamos, classic smile, am I right? Good, glad to see everyone agrees. Again, by the crow's feet next to his eyes and his wide smile, you can tell that it's a real one. I definitely feel like I can trust Uncle Jesse here in this photo. All right, lastly, Avril Lavigne. How do we feel about this one? Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't think I can trust her. Her smile is just, I'm really not buying it. In fact, I don't know how much longer I can look at it. Let's put Will back up. Hey, Will. At the beginning of this talk, I challenged all of you to reconsider your surroundings and recognize if you're taking your smile for granted. Every day, I found an opportunity to use my smile as my superpower. You all have this same power. Through the smiles I share with my family, they learned the power of smiling. Hopefully today, you have too. But if you leave here with one thing, I need it to be this. In the fast-paced lives that we lead, often, the pursuit of happiness takes a back seat to things like stress, commitment, and responsibility. Something we all can do for ourselves at any moment is take a moment for ourselves and smile. In the words of American cartoonist Tom Wilson, a smile is happiness you can find right under your nose. Thank you.